they were relatively treeless, arid or semi-arid flatlands, rocky plateaus, or desolate waterless valleys hemmed in by high mountains and barren peaks. Job 30. 3-7. Just 17. 6. S 19. 13. The nation of Israel, making their exodus from Egypt, were guided by God into the wilderness along the Red Sea, causing Pharaoh to assume that they had lost their bearings. X 13. 18-20. 14. 1-3 On the other side of the Red Sea, and for the remainder of 40 years, Israel passed from one wilderness section to another, including the wilderness regions of Shur, Sin, Sinai, Paran, and Zin. X 15. 22. 16. 1. 19. 1. New 10. 12. 20. 1. At times encamping at oases, such as at Elim, with its 12 springs and 70 palm trees. X 15. 27, and at Kadesh. New 13. 26. The 2. 14. Map, Volume 1, p. 541. The Promised Land itself, forming part of the so-called Fertile Crescent, lay like a finger of well-cultivated land bounded on one side by the Mediterranean Sea and on two sides by vast wilderness regions. The Syro-Arabian Desert on the E and the Sinai Peninsula on the S. X 23. 31 Within the land's boundaries were smaller wilderness sections, for example, that by Dothan, just east of the valley of Jezreel, where Joseph was cast into the Waterpit by his brothers. Ge 37. 17, 22. The wilderness of Judah, with certain sections around the cities of Zip, Maon, and Engedi, wildernesses in which David sought refuge from Saul. Jg 1. 16. 1 Sir 23. 14, 24. 24. 1. And wilderness regions on the east side of the Jordan, merging with the Syro-Arabian Desert. New 21. 13. D 1. 1. 4. 43. Much of the Rift Valley through which the Jordan River runs today, called the Gore, is basically desert land. While many of the wilderness regions mentioned in the Bible are today completely barren wastelands, there is evidence that some were rotex to acute muritra longo, wilderness 1185 conditions in wilderness of wandering. Although the conditions in some of the wilderness regions were quite possibly more favorable in the ancient past than at the present time, Moses could speak of Israel's trek through Sinai as through the great and fear-inspiring wilderness, with poisonous serpents and scorpions, and with thirsty ground that has no water. D 1. 19. 8. 15. Pictures, Volume 1, p. 542. It was a land of fevers. Ho 13. 5. A land of pit and deep shadow. J 2. 6. The more barren wilderness regions either were uninhabited. Job 38. 26. Or were places where tent dwellers resided, nomads roamed. 1 Ch 5. 9, 10. J 3. 2. Here were brambles and thorn bushes. Ge 21. 14, 15. X 3. 1, 2. Jg 8. 7. Thorny lotus trees, and thickets of prickly acacia trees. X 25. 10. Job 40. 21, 22. Weary travelers traversing the beaten paths. J 12. 12 might seek shade under the thin, rod-like branches of a broom tree. 1 Chi 19. 4, 5, or under a gloomy-looking dwarf juniper. J 48. 6, or by the gnarled trunk of a tamarisk with its feather-like foliage of tiny evergreen leaves. Ge 21. 33. High above, eagles and other birds of prey wheeled around in cloudless skies. D 32. 10, 11, while horned vipers and arrow snakes slithered over rocks and under bushes, sand lizards scurried about, and big monitor lizards lumbered along on short, powerful legs. L 11. 30. PS 140. 3. Issa 34. 15 mountain goats appeared on rocky crags. 1 Sa 24. 2. Wild asses, zebras, camels, and ostriches foraged on the sparse vegetation. And even pelicans and porcupines might be seen. Job 24. 5. 39. 5, 6. J 2. 24. Bar 4. 3. Zep 2. 13, 14. At night, the howling of jackals and wolves was joined by the hooting of owls or the whirring cry of the nightjar, adding to the feeling of wildness and isolation. Issa 34. 11-15. J 5. 6. Those who slept in a wilderness region generally did so with little sense of security. Compare Is 34. 25. With the exception of scattered oases, the Sinai Peninsula is largely a region of sand, hard gravel, and rock. Meager vegetation grows in the waters. Anciently there may have been a greater amount of rainfall and also more vegetation. However, without God's care, the Israelites, possibly numbering 3 million, could never have survived in this barren region. As Moses told them on the plains of Moab,